Good evening. I'm Chris Beard from Improve Your Landscape Photography, and welcome to our very first Friday feedback. Some members might be a little late in joining us, so I'll just go through tonight's plans while we wait for the numbers to build up. Evening Ash. Evening Owen. Great to have you with us. So what have we got lined up tonight? Well, first of all, there's obviously the feedback session, where we're going to give feedback on members' images. And tonight we have 6 great images to look at together. If you're a member of the group, you'll have already seen the feedback that I've given to other members when they've posted images on the group. And you'll see that all the feedback is positive. No one will ever be ridiculed. So please, if you'd like to post an image but a little bit worried, have no fear. Post your image and all the feedback you get will be positive, upbuilding and encouraging. Then after the feedback, we're going to have a look at some of the items that are in the photographic world at the moment, some of which you might want to look into when you have a little bit more time. I'll put the links in the comments section, and and then afterwards, after we've gone through all that, then we'll have a Q&A session, a bit of a question and answer. So if you've got any questions you would like to put to me, then again, just jump onto the comments and leave a comment there. I've just got a note that I'm not going out live. Ash, Owen, can you see me? It's saying that I'm going out at this end. Julie, can you? Do you know, we did some tests and everything works smoothly. Ash, you can still see and hear me. Mark, you've got me on your TV. Great. So, yeah, Jules, just check it at your end. Everybody else seems to be having us. Angela, lovely to meet you. Thanks. Sounds not brilliant. Okay. I'll see what we can do about that, Mark, as we go on. Right, well, I was going to say that anything could go wrong, and it looks as though it already has, but we'll do our best to get that sorted. I'd like a big shout out to all our admins for all their help and support, and especially Julie. Thanks, Jules. Also, Justin Brown from Primal Video. I'd like to thank him for his help in getting this set up for us. If ever you're thinking of doing a live feed, then check out his YouTube channel, Primal Video. Thanks, Justin. Right, I can see there's a few people there already. If you log in, just say hello in the comments section so I know that you're there. If you're not already a member of our group, then please sign up to Improve Your Landscape Photography. Whilst the title Improve Your Landscape Photography describes us quite well, it can be a bit of a mouthful. So early next year, we're going to have a bit of a relaunch, and we're going to call ourselves F11 Landscapes, a little bit easier on the tongue. So you might see our new logo and branding on various places. So that's what F11 Landscapes is all about. Angela, sound is a little crackly. Oh dear. Just hang on, let me have a look and see if there's anything I can do about that. I'm just checking a few settings here. Okay. How's that now? Is that any better? Let's crack on. So I'd like to thank one of our members, Ian Purves. Now, it was Ian who actually suggested that we hold these regular feedback sessions. Hope you're well, Ian. If you have got any more ideas, or any of our other members have got ideas of what you'd like to see on our Facebook group, then please let us know. This is your group, we're here for you, and we will try to do whatever you ask us to do. We will monitor the comments afterwards and go through them and see what we can put in place for you. So for those of you that don't know about us, let me tell you a little bit about the group. So in addition to these Friday feedback sessions we're going to be running, we have a photo of the week. Now this is where members can submit images, and every Monday one of the admins will go through the images that have been submitted and choose one. It won't necessarily be the best image, but it'll be one that the admins feel best embodies the spirit of our group. The image that we've chosen will then become our banner image for the week. So check the group every Monday morning for details of that. And this week's banner image is one by one of our members, Mark Head. Lovely image, really well done, Mark. And this is for the week ending the 1st of November 2020, just if you're watching this a bit later. So what else will we have on our group? Well, as we start the rebranding, we're going to be uploading weekly videos where you can join me as I tackle various locations around the country and maybe even around the world. Now, these videos will be designed to help you learn new techniques and styles of creating images. They'll hopefully inspire you to get out and try some of these techniques for yourself. And then if you do that, then why don't you put your images on the group for us all to enjoy? So those are something that are going to be coming out every week. That's going to be on location videos. There will be some instructional videos, which I'm going to be releasing as well. So if you're just new to landscape photography, there'll be some videos there for you. If you're a little bit more advanced, there'll be some for you, whether it's knowing about some of the equipment that's out there for you to use, about the techniques. Something's just happened. My light's broken. I told you anything could go wrong, and it has. But we will battle on. So these videos about equipment, techniques, processing workflow, and these are all going to be high quality videos that are going to be easy to follow. I'm planning to have a few conversations with some of the leading photographers where we can learn a little bit more about them. We'll enjoy looking at some of their images together and discuss some of their images and hopefully pick up a few tips along the way. Finally, once we start to emerge from this terrible pandemic, I hope to organise some photo walks for members. These will be events where we can all meet up together, spend the day getting to know each other a little bit more, walk around, take a few images together, and then post them on the group. So if these are the kind of activities that interest you, then please become a member of our Facebook group and you will receive notification of all these events and also when we start uploading images to YouTube. So we have a great variety of members from all over the world. I've been talking to some from Canada this week, and it is a friendly group. We'll all help each other, encourage one another. So please get involved, post your images, comment on images, and let's all do it in a nice, friendly manner. Right, we've got quite a few of us watching now. Let's move on to the images we're going to have a look at together this evening. Let me just get this up. So you should now be seeing Lightroom. Can somebody confirm you can see that? Yeah. Okay. So this is the first image that was submitted to us. Now, I know the photographer who took this image, and he took it for a particular purpose in mind. He was actually doing a study on shapes in the landscape. So that's why we have these two vertical upright. These are actually measuring gauges. Thanks, Owen. Thanks, Mark. Yeah. So we have the upright measuring markers for the depth of the water. This is actually Morecambe Bay, looking across from Morecambe towards the Lake District. We have the slipway, obviously covered in green algae. And what are your feelings when you look at this? Have a think about it. At the moment, when I see it, I see that the two markers that are there for us could almost act as a frame. So maybe if there was a subject between them, the image would be a little bit stronger. We can see that a long exposure has been used. We can see that by obviously a bit of smoothness in the water and the clouds as well. The clouds are starting to move from left to right. A little bit of a tip for if you do use long exposures. It's usually helpful, not always, but usually, if the clouds are moving directly overhead, from behind you to in front of you, or from in front of you behind you. Because that way, when you do a long exposure, you will actually get lines in the sky which can act as leading lines. My apologies for that break there. I'm having people messaging me. So if you can see what I mean, at the moment the movement in the clouds is very much left to right. It's so much better if we can have it directly overhead, going away to us or coming towards us. And that will kind of help to draw our eye into the frame. We can see that everything is sharp that needs to be sharp. The foreground, the green has been nicely rendered. And even the distant hills are sharp. So we can see technically it's a very good image, but maybe one that could be made a little bit better by having a main focal point between the two uprights there. And Owen's actually saying that he would like to see a bit more of a dramatic sky or rays of light. Yeah, I know what you mean, Owen. We can usually only photograph what we have. Maybe the sky might look a little bit blown out on the television, Mark. As I'm looking at it here in Lightroom, it's not blown out, and I'm actually looking at the histogram as well. So, you know, the photographer has captured all the detail in both the shadows and the highlights. So, yeah, he's done really well on that. But as I say, maybe it just lacks. Don't worry, Mark, don't worry. It's fine, that's what we're all here to do. We're all here to have a little bit of a discussion about these images. Do you think it might work well as a black and white? A lot of darkness in the foreground. It's one of those that we need to have a look at, and we all have our own opinions. Okay, so yes, technically it's sharp where it needs to be. I think that the movement in the sky would have been better if it was going overhead rather than left to right. And obviously the placement of a main subject between the two uprights would help as well. So thank you so much for submitting that. Let's move on to our next image. Beautiful stormy skies over South Pier at Blackpool. What do we think of this one? Well, as I'm looking at it here, we have this beautiful dramatic sky, something Owen was mentioning on the last image he would like to see. Well, we've got that in bucket loads here, haven't we? We have the South Pier, they're beautifully rendered, almost in silhouette, but with just a little bit of colour along it. And we have the foreground of the outgoing or incoming tide there, which provides a little bit of reflection and prevents the base of the image from being a little bit too heavy if it was all dark. So yeah, really lovely image there. My only thoughts are, and this applies to all images, if you close your eyes for a few seconds and then open them, our eyes will always go to the brightest part of the image. And the brightest part of this image is obviously the little area above the Big Dipper. We have two other bright areas in the image as well that drag our eye away from the centre of the image, and that's the yellowy orange cloud on the left and a little bit of blue sky on the right. We can only shoot what's there, as we said in the last image, but if we have bright areas on the edge of our frames, then our eyes tend to get drawn away. Our eyes get drawn to the edge of the frame and then out of it. So if we can make our brightest part in the centre of the image and keep our edges of our frame dark, then so much the better. But as I say, the photographer was out on the beach there, the storm is passing, we can see the rain falling in the background there, a really lovely image. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing it. I can see the comments coming in and people are loving the sky, loving the mood to the image. Anybody else got any comments they'd like to make about this one? I'm not sure there is any way it could be improved. The only way it could be improved is with the position of the bright areas, but the photographer has to take it when he can. Right. Hope you enjoyed that one as much as I did. That was it is a really fine image. Let's move on to another one now. This is obviously taken up on the moors somewhere. Lovely. I'm just going to put my glasses on now. A lovely waterfall. Some rocks. When I look at it, the thing that initially strikes me is the photographer has taken great care over his composition. He's tried to make the best of what's there. If we have a look, he has placed a rock in the bottom left-hand corner. Oops. Placed a rock in the bottom left-hand corner of our frame to try and anchor the image. We then move up to the water. Our eye kind of flows up that waterfall and then kind of stops. But it is a very beautiful image. The thing that gets me is, as I said in the last image, eyes can be drawn to the brightest part, which is obviously the water as it flows down the rocks. But also our eye can be drawn to big areas of darkness. And the thing that gets me is we have a huge area of rock right in front of us, just to the left of the water as it comes down the falls. And that tends to kind of stop our eye from travelling up the waterfall as much as it could do. I did have a look at this, and if we just go through to the develop module, that's how the image was delivered to me, and I just took the saturation down a bit. What do you think? Do you think that's as it was delivered, and just toning that down a little bit. Do you think that improves it? Let's see what you think. Owen, I don't know if a polarizer was used there. Possibly. I did notice when I look closely, there's some chromatic aberration on the trees in the background, so I don't know what's gone on there. It's difficult with such a low res image, so you're probably not picking it up, but the chromatic aberration is this green fringing we can see on the edge of the trees and the things that are in the background. Can we see it there? Chromatic aberration is fairly easy to remove. We have these lens correction tools, and there's a button there that says remove chromatic aberration. We tick that. Lightroom does a really good job of removing it. As you can see there, it has almost gone. Julie likes the less saturated version better. Angela likes it better as well. Has anybody got any comments on that? Which is it really is an exceptionally fine image. We've got lots of little details like the swirling water here. Mark reckons there could have been movement in the trees to get longer exposure to capture water movement. Yeah, quite right, Mark. Yes, obviously, anytime you're going to use a longer exposure up on these windswept moors, you are going to get movement in the trees. And that's one thing that we really need to be careful of. And we need to pick an exposure that's long enough to give us the blur in the water that we want and not blur the trees too much. The area of this image I really enjoy is this little bit here. I think the way the water has been rendered coming over this little lip here is absolutely superb. So much detail, the stripes, fantastic. Mark likes eddies in the water and autumn leaves in an eddy. Yeah, they make for really good subjects, Mark. There's a place I'm not even going to try and pronounce down in South Wales. Maybe Julie can help us out with this one. But it's a little walk along the river, and there are 3 or 4 waterfalls there with lots of eddies. And at this time of the year, I'm sure they'll be full of leaves. You'll be in paradise. Oh, Mark, Owen, you're going out tomorrow to try and capture something like this. Well, hey, look forward to seeing your work. So please post that, Owen, if you get anything. Yeah, the colours are probably just going past their peak at the moment here, and certainly with the high winds we've had for the last few days, there probably won't be a lot left on the trees up here, but wherever you are, you might find some. But that's, I think just toning down the saturation really does help on that. Yeah, I'd like to go there and have a go at photographing something like this myself. Yes, Julie, you've spelt it for me, but there's no way I can pronounce that. Yes, Drafelter, but I am English. So, yeah, really nice image. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. As I say, it's just that dark rock there that worries me and I think is a little bit overpowering. Oh, you're right, Mark. We can't get into Wales. No, they're banned us. Well, Julie lives in Wales, so she's okay. Right, let's move on to our next image. Now, this is beautiful, almost abstract type image, where the photographer has actually just zoomed in, obviously really taken with the colours of the trees, the patterns, the different types of trees make there, That's really nice. Now, I just wonder, when I was looking at this one today, I had an idea. I mean, the image is beautiful as it is. You know, the colours are there, the shapes, the patterns, it's got everything. But I just wondered if we came down to just a one-to-one crop, square, because this little upstanding tree here, I think that's a great focal point in the image. Yeah, Owen loves this image. Yeah, I agree with you, Owen. It is really special, isn't it? So what do we think about the square crop? Do we think that works? Being a bit of an abstract image, usually the square crop is more suitable because it's more an artistic crop. That, as it was shot, that's as the image was shot, and then just bringing in the edges a little bit to give us something like that. Because I really do feel that little upstanding tree there that's going into the darker area. I think that's beautiful. Mark, what about a square crop to the right-hand side? Are you talking about that, Mark? I think we lose that little dip in the tree there. So maybe something like that. Yeah, I was looking at the trunks of the silver birches that, you know, I think need to be there. Angela likes the square crop. She believes that's more impactful. Yeah, back left a bit. There. Yeah. Okay. So if you can hear this beeping, I've got two admins that are in and out of this chat. There's Stephen, and the next one will be Derek. I do apologise for that. I'll sack them later. Yeah, you know, that works for me too, Mark. Let's say, I think on my crop I had that little upstanding tree, and on that crop we've got the silver birch trunks. So yeah, maybe that's one as well. How about we come the other side? I think the green there is too overpowering from the dark trees in the middle. There's Derek. I told you Derek would be logging in and out. So yeah, Owen likes both of them. Too many choices, Owen. Would do well to get a bad photo. Yeah. So I think we've got a big thumbs up to that one from just about everybody. They all like it, and a few people prefer the square crop, and a few don't mind the normal crop because of the kind of Z pattern in the trees. Absolutely, Julie. Yes, you know, shots like this can produce a lot of different compositions. And that's why, you know, if you find yourself in this position with a scene like that, just take quite a number of images and then play about with them at home just to see which one is the strongest, which crop, which composition is the strongest. Sometimes you might find a letterbox would work. Sometimes it might be a portrait format. Other times square. But what you need to be doing is looking for the little bits in the image which stand out. As I said, the silver birch trunks, the little sticks that stand a little bit higher, and take a few images of different formats and then play about with them on the computer when you get home. So yeah, really well done, and thank you ever so much for sending this image in. Right, let's move on to this image that's been sent in. Now, I'm really glad that a photographer has sent this in, because it highlights something really important. Now, if we have a look at the way the camera has rendered the sun, as the sun sets below the sea, we have this, I think they called it a fried egg. We can see this yellow arc here that ends really abruptly and goes straight into the pink and red of the sunset. Now, I must admit, in all my years of photography, I've never actually seen that type of effect. What I see is a very gradual gradient from the yellow of the sun gradually fading into the pink of the sky and the sunset. So why has this happened? No, Owen, you're quite right. The horizon isn't level. I was going to come on to that later. But why do we get that fried egg effect? It's all down to shooting in JPEGs, right? If we shoot in JPEG, then JPEGs are what we call a lossy format. An algorithm looks at the scene and it tries to compress the file size, and the way it does that is by looking at the scene and looking at areas it thinks are very close in colour and makes them all one colour. It throws away all the detail and just renders that one colour. To illustrate that fact, I've just put something in Photoshop. Let me just come over to Photoshop now. Can you see Photoshop now? Can you see? You should have this on the screen now. So what I've actually done here, let me see if I can just make that a wee bit smaller. There we go. The top strip of colours is basically going from red to yellow and saved in the highest quality possible. And we can see it's an absolutely smooth gradient from yellow on the right to red on the left. If we have a look at the band below that, can you see bands of different shades of red? And then it goes into orange, and then it comes into yellow. And they are very distinct bands. And that's what I was saying just a few seconds ago. When you save as a JPEG, it compresses the image and it takes an average of what it thinks that colour should be. And that's why, this image has that poached egg type effect. So I'm just going to pacify Owen now because it's bothering me as much as it's bothering him. There are two ways we can level our horizon in Lightroom. We can either take this little angle and move that freehand, or we can pick up our spirit level and click on the horizon, hold the button down and drag it across and let go, and then it levels it out automatically. So yeah, as I say, I was really glad somebody sent an image like this in for us, and thank you very much to the photographer. But that illustrates really nicely why, as landscape photographers, we really need to be shooting in RAW. You might be saving file size by JPEGs, but the JPEG, once that image has been saved as a JPEG, you've lost detail. You can never recover it. There are other reasons that we can get this in RAW as well, but we can usually have a good go at recovering it. But maybe that's a subject for another day. And finally, we have an image taken, I believe this is in Hungary. So obviously somebody has been away on a holiday and has seen something that they were attracted to. And what an attractive bridge that is. Yes, we take images for a number of reasons. One of them is to jog our memory. And I'm sure the photographer, when they look back at these images, that will bring back some really happy memories for them. Could it be improved? Well, yes, if we want it to be. To crop guide. If we come here and we put these crop guides on, I'm just going to darken the image so we can see the guides. We can see the noughts and crosses pattern there. These areas where the lines intersect, the centre of the image, there's 4 of them. Those are really our most powerfulest points in an image. That's where, if we do have a main subject, that's where we would like to place them. We've heard about the rule of thirds. This is the thirds. So maybe, if I just come back a little bit, maybe if we place this first tower of the bridge a little bit further to the right, then that would have made that image a little bit more powerful, because it would be on the right hand side and the rest of the bridge would go away from it. So we need it probably a little bit more on the left hand side of the frame, but I think it could do with being a little bit darker. So yeah, but the photographer has handled it really well. The image is sharp all over. Exposures, I've only reduced it by half a stop. You could also maybe try photographing this with a long exposure at night. I'm sure there'd be some lights on the bridge and you'd get lights of the vehicles travelling across. That might make it a nice image as well. Oh, we've got somebody saying something to me. Mark wants a square crop on it. On this one, Mark? Chris's voice sounds rather high-pitched. Thanks, Stephen. Do you mean that, Mark? Yeah, Mark's happy with that. Okay. Anybody else like the square crop? I think we'll go back to original. What about let's see what the guys are saying. Oops. Owen. Mark. Mark's not happy about something. Get the 2 trees in the 2 bottom corners. Okay, we'll try that. And the light seems really harsh, so earlier in the morning or later in the day. Also zoom out, if possible, to include all of the bridge. Okay. Yeah. No arguments from me there, Owen. Let's just... Mark just wants me to try a 1-to-1 with the trees in the bottom corner. Lose the lamppost. The one right in the middle. Yeah. Just need a welding torch. But yeah, I know what you mean, Mark, about the 2 trees in the bottom left-hand corner. In the bottom corners. That could work. Wonder if maybe they could get a bit further to the right to get those in the bottom corners and get the rest of the bridge in. Anyway, there's been some interesting images there for us to have a chat about. Let's have a look. Owen prefers the crop with the trees in the corners. Yeah. I know what you mean, Owen, because it gets rid of the lamppost on both sides, doesn't it? And Mark meant the one on the left. Okay, so you know, I'm enjoying this, guys. We're getting lots of comments, Mark and Owen. Right, let's move on a little bit, because I said I had a few other things I'd like to chat about. I want to see if I can actually do this. Right. The first thing I'd like to talk about is Landscape Photographer of the Year. Most of you will be well aware that this Landscape Photographer of the Year is probably the top landscape competition in the country. And we have just had the results announced for this year's competition. And the image you see on the screen now of the wild garlic in the woods, let me go back to it, that was Chris Frost's winning image. And if you aren't aware that this competition runs every year, if you're fortunate enough to take the image that is chosen as the best, you win £10,000. Now, the competition for 2021 opens in, I think it's the 13th of January. So if you would like to enter, then, as I say, The competition opens for entries on the 13th of January, and I think it finishes sometime in mid-April. Oh, my sound has gone funny. Is that better, guys? We are going to do this on YouTube next because I believe it's so much better. So get your entries in. You can have a look on this. I'm going to ask Julie to put up the link to it now, should you like to have a look at it for yourself. But if you scroll through, see the latest news, we come to the gallery, the award winners, and you can actually look at all the award winners that are here. There's some stunning images, all the various categories. So should you want to enter next year, you can pick a category and take some images over winter to fit in with that. Yeah, it's a really nice goal to have. A very prestigious competition. Oh, and sound's gone a bit like a robot. It's okay. Okay. Yeah. I am showing, I've got a really good connection at my end. It must just be Facebook getting really busy. So yeah, I wanted to share that with you. Really well worth a look. So I do encourage you, go through some of those images, have a look, get some inspiration for your own photography. Right, so that was one I wanted to share with you. And there's another one. While we're talking about landscape photography, the preeminent name is a chap by the name of Ansel Adams. I'm sure many of you have heard of him. Ansel was really the father of landscape photography, going back to the 20s and 30s in America. And I came across a lovely, hang on, let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Just wanted to play you a little bit of this video here, and then if you want to watch the whole video, I'll put a link up to it afterwards. But I think what Ansel says here really sums up a little bit about landscape photography.
His first photographs were little more than snippets, aids to memory. Disappointed that they conveyed so little of what he had seen and felt at the moment of exposure. He set out to learn everything he could about the photographic process, teaching himself how to develop and print his own negatives, and experimenting with different approaches, including pictorialism, the painterly soft focus style then in vogue, that in the name of art sought to soften and blur the photographic image.
June 8th, 1920. Dear Father, I am more than ever convinced that the only possible way to interpret the scenes hereabout is through an impressionistic vision. A cold, material representation gives one no conception whatever of the great size and distances of these mountains. Ansel.
In the summer of 1920, determined now to pursue a career as a concert pianist, he began searching the valley for a summer piano to practice on.
Okay. Okay, you're just back with me now. Yeah, I just played that little clip for you there because I thought it summed up how a lot of us approach our photography. You know, we start off in photography and we get our camera, we're excited, we go out and shoot a lot of frames, lots of different subjects, and in a few years' time when we look back at them, we find that those images are nothing more than just pictorial representations of what we saw in front of us. As we progress through our career, we start to want to put a little bit more into our images, a little bit more of ourselves, more atmosphere. You know, we spoke earlier about a little bit more drama in the sky. And the video here about Ansel Adams really has some good information for us all. So if you'd like to watch the rest of that, the whole of the video, then Julie's going to put the link up for us now. Right, just a couple of things there that I thought you'd be interested in. Right, we were going to talk now, we were going to do some questions and answers. I'm going to come over now. Yes, Julie, absolutely amazing photographer. Mark Ansel is a god. Of course he is. Yeah. Ashley doesn't know who he is. Okay. Julie, have we got has anybody posted any questions? Or have you all been bored into a stupor by me rabbiting on? Oh, Stephen, Ansel's almost as good as you. Yeah. Let me just... No, I can't do that to you, Stephen. But thanks for joining us. Yeah. Right then. Derek Adams, when asked what's the most important bit of his camera, said the 8-inch behind the viewfinder. Yeah, quite right. It's how we think about our images, how we interpret what's in front of us that really elevates our photography. Well, we've been going for 52 minutes and 50 seconds. I haven't seen any questions. Julie hasn't messaged me to say there are any questions there. So have you all enjoyed tonight? I mean, it was the first one. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to me being sat here talking. Ken, we have a question. Ken, hello Ken, how are you, my friend? Without travelling too far, where is a good place for landscape photography? Well, Ken, we're based on the Fylde coast. We have plenty of places. You've got the old jetty down here at Lytham. You've got the windmill. We've got a boat wreck just opposite Lowther Pavilion called the Celestial Dawn. We go through to St Anne's. We've got the old pier. We move up. We've got the piers at Blackpool, which are, North Pier especially is quite a popular one. And then just continuing up the coast, we have Cleveleys, St Mary's Shell, and then going a little bit further around the corner, we have the boats at Preesall. So yeah, we're quite fortunate here that we do have a lot of coastal photography. If you want to go inland, then obviously we've got the Trough of Bowland to go at. We've got the Lake District. We've got all around Morecambe, Silverdale. Yeah, there are lots and lots of places around here for good landscapes. Thanks for that, Ken. Right, so that takes us up to nearly 45 minutes. Thanks, Ash. Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed it. It's been interesting, to say the least. I think the next one we do is going to be on YouTube Live, because I believe it's a little bit better than Facebook. We don't have the delay, we're a little bit more interactive. So we will be putting up in the next couple of days a little request for images for our next feedback session. And I think what we'll do is we'll leave it until we've got like 6 or 7 images that we can go through together. Whether that's next Friday night, whether it's in a fortnight, 3 weeks, a month. We'll wait until we've got quite a few images there, say 6 or 7 to go through, and then I will arrange another one. Owen, Thank you so much. YouTube is much better. That's brilliant. Thank you for your comments. Thanks, Ken. Looking forward to the next one. Julie, yeah, I wouldn't expect anything else from you, my friend. Stephen, I've definitely got a high-pitched voice. And Angela, how should we submit images? Well, as I said, we'll put a post on the group, and we will ask you to post your images in the comments section. So wait until you see Friday feedback. We'll post a nice image with Friday feedback on and ask people to post their images there. So that should be up maybe over the weekend. So keep your eyes open for that, Angela. Mark, yeah, you probably just heard me beat you to it. Yeah. I sound like a Smurf. Okay, for those of you that haven't met me, I don't normally sound like a Smurf. I don't think I do anyway. Just hang on. I've got a message coming through from Julie. So yeah, so hopefully we can on YouTube Live, we'll have a look and see what the voice sounds like on YouTube Live. You know, I might be a little bit less Smurf-like there. Okay, Pinky or Perky. Stephen, don't forget I've got some very compromising photographs of you I could put up on here. Thank you so much, Angela. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Let all your friends know. Get them to jump onto the group and become a member, and then we can also let you know when we go onto YouTube. Right, I think we're going to leave it there. Yeah, don't be nasty. We'll leave it there. Just want to say a big thank you for joining us this evening. Stay safe, everybody. This virus is awful. And hopefully, in the new year, when things are over, we can start to organise some meetups and we can all get together, have a laugh, coffee, beer together, do a bit of photography. Stay safe.
If you stayed with us right through to the end, please consider subscribing. It's free, won't cost you anything, and tick the bell icon to be notified of new uploads.